Hey everybody, JC here. A little bit late in the evening, just ended a night of Uber. Actually ended it a little bit earlier tonight. It's almost midnight. It's about 11:50 p.m. My first night back of doing Uber in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So just gonna take a drive back home now, and thought we might do a solo FSD commentary drive on the way home. I'm actually on the in the downtown area, right around Navigation Boulevard. So let's head on home. Leaving pretty close to my last drop off. Yeah, so we are, let's see where I'm at right now. Yeah, on Commerce Street, but right around, I dropped somebody off right around Navigation. I went ahead and got a little bit away from my last drop-off point for starting this one, but yeah, I just thought I'd do a little solo FSD drive on the way home. Had some really good Uber rides. All right, we got some road construction here. Let's see how we do. All right, great job. Excellent. All right, yeah, the road is closed over there, so we got over here to the proper area for road construction. Great job, FSD. Did a great job with the road construction here. Let's concentrate on this as we're getting through. Continuing on through the road construction, get over the railroad tracks. Whoa, whoa. Those are pretty rough railroad tracks there. All right, get back over here. Go underneath the bridge. We are in downtown now. Can't see it, but directly to our left is the Houston Astros Stadium, Daikin Park. Used to be Minute Maid. All right, we're going to take a right here, get us over to 59 East Tex Freeway going northbound up to Porter. Go, leaving downtown. Do not go left. Good job. That's the HOV. It is closed down. Do not get over there. All right. And the other thing I'm going to do here is I've kept it on standard mode pretty much all through the night for Uber passengers. I'm going to go ahead and put it on hurry mode. Since I'm by myself. All right. See, I had a really good night of Uber. No critical interventions at all on any of the drives. I did have a couple of non-critical interventions, all in a parking lot, but again, as everybody knows, on version 13.2.9 we do not have parking functionality, nor is it completely dialed in with parking lots. And you'll see, and I'll have those videos up for those individual Uber rides. But all right, let me concentrate here a little bit. We've got some more road construction to the right. Got some lanes going away, flashing lights. Let's just make sure we're, there we go. All right. So yeah, on one of the areas that I was both picking somebody up as well as dropping them off, there was quite a bit of road construction right around the parking lot and some road closures. So I did have to disengage to help FSD find its way out of those parking lots. But again, all of them non-critical in nature. I say all of them. It was a small handful. But again, also they were in parking lots. So again, we know that that functionality is not all the way there yet. So don't necessarily like to throw that on this version of FSD, but it is what it is. Once I have a passenger in my Tesla and I engage FSD, if I have a disengagement, that's what I call it. So I did have 2 or 3 non-critical disengagements related to that. So what's going on? So yeah, we've got Robotaxi development since my last solo drive or solo video. I think the last time that I talked to y'all, obviously we've had the Austin Robotaxi, and that has once again expanded. So now we have basically, is it the second or third expansion of the Austin Robotaxi? I believe it's the second expansion. So the third iteration of the Austin Robotaxi GeoFence. So it started out with just South Austin. And then the second iteration was the Dick Pick. And then now the third iteration is they've filled that out to, especially in the South Austin area, where it is less of a dick pic and a little bit more of a finger, hand and a finger. So kind of staying with the meme, but really, really filling out that Austin GeoFence. And I want to say it's like 80 or 90 square miles now. So it's essentially the same size or a little bit bigger than the Waymo GeoFence in Austin. We still have the safety monitor in the passenger seat. No driver, but we do have a safety monitor. Again, it's been a month and a half since they rolled this out, so we are on a really good trajectory. I mean, there's really only one other company that's done Robotaxi, and that's Waymo. And it was a lot longer than that before they got rid of their safety driver / safety monitor. So we are on a amplified trajectory when you compare it to any other Robotaxi provider. So Austin is doing great. So that's where we're at with that. Be interested to see what's next for the Austin GeoFence. We are seeing quite a lot of validation vehicles driving all over the greater Austin area. We saw one in Kyle, Texas. Somebody saw one up in around Taylor, Texas. I mean, they have been seen like literally 50 to 60 miles outside of downtown Austin. So, I mean, every time we see those, there's, generally speaking, about a week or two later, another expansion. So they're just going to keep expanding that thing, and eventually they're going to expand it to San Marcos and San Antonio, and then east to Houston and northeast to Dallas. Next thing you know, we got the Texas Triangle all encompassed in. And I will tell you, you get that Texas Triangle, and you've got about 25 million people encompass there. Take a little drink here. So yeah, that's the Austin Robotaxi. And then also here recently, they launched the Bay Area Robotaxi. Now, we can't really call the Bay Area a quote-unquote robotaxi yet, so we'll call the Bay Area a rideshare. And the reason for that is that it is a bit different than what they've got in Austin. So, as I mentioned before, in Austin, there is no driver. There is nobody sitting in the driver's seat, and the vehicle is completely autonomous. But there is a safety monitor in the passenger seat, like I mentioned before. In the Bay Area, they are running the exact same Teslas with the exact same FSD. And FSD is doing all of the driving, but due to California regulations, a ride-hailing service has to have a person in the driver's seat for, I believe it's the first 50,000 miles. Like, I think you have to get, and forgive me if I don't have those miles right, but there's a specific number of miles that ride-hail service has to log. I believe it's 50,000. And that until they have 50,000 miles, you have to have a person in the driver's seat. And then as soon as you obtain those 50,000 miles, then you can get the permit, such as the one that Waymo has, and you can get the individual out of the driver's seat. Here's the other interesting thing. Those 50,000 miles do not have to be in California, so you can use the Austin miles for that as well. So that's good news. But once they get those 50,000 miles, they can get the person out of the driver's seat, and what they'll likely do is move them over to the passenger seat as a safety monitor, just like they have in Austin. And just waiting on till we can get to those 50,000 miles. But yeah, and the Bay Area GeoFence is really big too. It's like 75 to 80 square miles, I believe. I mean, it covers pretty much all of San Francisco, the Silicon Valley area, the South Bay area, as well as parts of Oakland, and I guess you could call it like the San Joaquin area. So it's a big area. Let's see, we're getting over here. I'm just getting away from traffic over there. So yeah, those are some really, really great developments. So the Robotaxi is really progressing here. Again, I want to be careful. I don't want to say Robotaxi for all of it, because quite frankly, in the Bay Area, as long as you have somebody in the driver's seat, yes, technically, I believe you have to refer to that as ride hail and not technically Robotaxi. So, all right, I think that's all that I had on Robotaxi. Oh, they also, and I think I talked about this before already, they adjusted the pricing, so we now have dynamic pricing for the Robotaxi. I personally do not yet have access to Robotaxi. I've been able to ride as a +1 with a couple of people, both Joe Tegmeyer and Bradford Ferguson, and that was great. So I have gotten to ride in the Robotaxi about a dozen times in the Austin area, but I do not personally yet have access. So until I have access, I am just going to continue doing Uber exclusively with Tesla FSD over here in the Houston area. I may go over to the Austin area every once in a while and do some Uber over there as well. But, you know, I think until they provide me access, and again, mine is not to question why. Mine is just to do or die, gung ho, what makes the grass grow? Blood, sir. Yeah, that's the, I'm a Marine, so I am not going to sit here and question how they, I know there's a method to the madness, and I know that there are very good reasons for me not to have access yet. Probably a big part of it too is just the fact that they're still growing out the fleet in Austin. So, you know, we've gone from 11 vehicles to, I don't know exactly, but it's somewhere probably in that 20 to 25 range. And so they're just being safe and cautious. And so quite frankly, with a limited number of vehicles in the fleet right now, you probably want to keep access fairly tight. And most of the folks that they're adding access to either live in Austin, in the city of Austin, or they're international. And so I'm not aware, I could be wrong, let me know if any of y'all do, but I'm not aware of anybody that lives in the Houston area having obtained access to Robotaxi yet. I do not have access. And so I'm going to slow this down just a bit. That was a police officer right there. So we were going about 80 and a 65. I will tell you, most of the time that will not get you into any hot water, but let's just not tempt fate. So did a non-critical intervention there to lower our speed down to 70. And then right as I do that, we got a Lexus goes right by me at 80. So obviously that police officer didn't care. But you know what? We've only got a few more miles till we get to our exit, so we'll just stay here at 70. So yeah, I did I guess you would call that a personal comfort, non-critical intervention. Obviously we didn't need to do it. That Lexus just blew by us with the police officer still back there. That's what I'm telling you, folks. You saw that. There's a police officer literally about 100 yards behind me to my right, and a Lexus just blew by me. They may have been going faster than 80. That may have been about 85. And that police officer didn't blink. So I think that tells you about Texas a little bit. So anywho, but since we've only got about 3 more miles till our exit, we'll just stay here. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Robotaxi. I do not have access. I'd love to have it. Don't get me wrong. If anybody from Tesla AI is listening, whoever's in the decision making there, you give it to me. I'll come over there and keep it busy. But until then, I'm just going to make me some money with Uber and do the exact same thing. Put on Tesla FSD, not drive, not do a damn thing, and I'll actually just make money doing it instead. And I get to show people Tesla FSD in the Houston area, let them know what to get ready for. And yeah, all of my rides tonight, with the exception of a couple, we talked about Tesla FSD, had really good conversations. I think there was a couple of them where there really wasn't any conversation at all. So actually my ratio was inverted tonight. Usually it's 70-30. 70% of my rides, no conversation, 30% have good conversations. Tonight it was about 80-20, 80% good conversations, 20% quiet. So really inverted that tonight. I did not go as long as I usually do. I probably did about 4 hours of Uber tonight. I can usually go about 8. But since it was my first night back, I started a little bit late. I had some things I wanted to do today. Both family as well as getting some things done to the vehicle, to my Tesla, seeing that it's kind of been out of the Uber realm for about 3 or 4 weeks. So I got started a little bit later than I wanted to. I got started around, I guess it was about 7 o'clock. And being my first night back, I just kind of ended it around 11:30 to midnight. So yeah, I got about 4 hours in. If you take out, a break in between there. Took a little break in between. Yeah, I usually take a break every 2 to 2.5 hours. Get out of the vehicle, walk around a bit, get something to drink. But, so yeah, that's where we're at with Robotaxi. Trying to think if there's anything else to mention. We talked about Austin, talked about the Bay Area, talked about dynamic pricing, talked about the fact that I don't have it. Oh, well, it's not specifically about Robotaxi, but it is about FSD. So Elon made a post last night, and it was not in response to anybody. It was an original post on X, not prompted by anybody's question or anything. And his post basically said that in about a month or two, they are going to be releasing another version of FSD that's going to have 10 times the parameter size of the FSD that we're driving around with right now. That's huge. So just to kind of put it in perspective, when we went, don't hold me to this. Like I said, y'all know I'm not an AI engineer or a software engineer or any of that stuff. But I believe when we went from version 12.5, kind of like the last version of version 12, to version 13, that was like a 2 to 3x improvement in parameters and just model size, if you will. And so 10x, I mean, that's going to be pretty bad. I mean, I don't know. Is that version 14? I mean, he didn't mention that. All he mentioned was that we were going to have 10 times the parameter size. So usually, and let me know when oh, I guess they had a green light there and that guy was not going. What I think when you say 10 times parameter size, that's like video data, context window, model size, all of that. Let me know in the comments, any of you guys that are AI engineers or software engineers or just know a lot more than me. It's going to be a lot of you. If I've got that wrong, if parameter size is just one specific part of the neural net. But I think that means no, it's just everything. Bigger model, more video compression, more video data, all of that stuff. Context window. And so basically that just means 10 times better. And so when we went from version 12.5, the last instance we had on version 12, oh, you know what I need to do? Give me 1 second. I forgot. I want to stop at the speedy stop on the way home. Get that in there. Yep. Okay. Sorry about that. Going to make a quick detour on the way home. But, yeah, when we went from 12.5, which was the last instance of version 12, to version 13, it was like 2 to 3x improved. So that's like 3 more times that. So that kind of makes me think that maybe that is version 14. Don't hold me to that. I don't know. Maybe going from version 13.2.9 to version 13.3 or 13.4, that's going to be 10x more. What I think's going to happen And I want to say I saw some posts from some big accounts on X that kind of were thinking the same thing. Is probably the scenario is yes, in about, and Elon said a couple of months. So that's Elon time. So maybe if 2 to 3 months, this is August, so that'd be September, October. So if that's October, November, let's say end of the year. Let's say if we get something that's 10x bigger by the end of the year, maybe that is version 14. And so that's got all the functionalities in it, maybe even a little bit of unsupervised in certain places, in certain scenarios. But let's say that comes by the end of the year, version 14, that in between time, we get a 13.3 or a 13.4 that maybe isn't unsupervised, but that, all right, we need to get over to the right. Man, that waited a long time. But, I mean, fortunately, we didn't have any other vehicles to the right, but man, it waited all the way till we got through that intersection. Let's see how we do with parking here. So we are at the Speedy Stop. We're in the Speedy Stop parking lot. Again, as I mentioned before, 13.2.9 does not have parking functionality, but I always do like to see if it, something emerges. See how it does. All right. Coming around. Is it going to try to park? Let's see if it tries to park. Let's see if it tries to park. I think it is. Let's see how it does. It's going to try to park. Let's see how it does. Okay. Kind of came in at a angle that wasn't too good for parking. Reverses. Okay. Don't hit the car behind us. Now this is weird. Now it is going back out. I may have to take over here and help it park. Let's just see what it does. Yeah, I think it's just going to give up. All right, let me go ahead and help it park. Let me back up here. Yeah. See, that functionality is just not there yet, and it's hit or miss, but that is okay because we already knew that. Let me get parked in here. All right. So yeah, so I think maybe in the meantime, before end of the year, maybe we do get a couple of updates, maybe a 13.3, 13.4, and maybe what those do is probably doesn't bring any unsupervised yet, but it does bring like parking functionality, parking, get better in parking lots, maybe better in school zones, stuff right around the nuances. So we'll just see. All right. Well, let me go run in here real quick. Gonna make I'm doing this quick detour, then heading home, and I'll see. Home's not far away, but I'll see if there's anything else I can rattle off here before we get to the house. All right, everybody. See y'all in a little bit. Bye bye. All right, everybody, back in the Tesla. Let's head on home. This will be quick. All right, get on the rear camera. Taking its time. Not a lot going on in the parking lot, but we do have a number of vehicles to our left. So it just always wants to be a little cautious there. All right. Now, the interesting thing is whenever I leave this, it always goes this way, no matter what. And I don't know if that's just because it looks at it being the safest way. It comes out this way, then does a U-turn instead of just going out that way. But yeah. All right. Get on out there. And we got to be quick when we do that. Did a good job, but man, that was cutting it a little short there. I mean, it was confident, and then we got a blind. There we go. Good job. All right. So we're out of there. Yeah, I'm going to say that's probably at nighttime. You could have just gone out right there and come. So that's what I would call parking lot optimization. Did I have to do a thing? No. But was there's 3 ways to get out of that parking lot, and we took probably the longest but the safest way. All right, anywho, I don't have a lot of time left on this one, but I thought the only other thing I would mention that's really cool is, although I don't have access to Robotaxi yet, there is one really cool thing I got access to. I now have Grok inside my Tesla. So that's really cool. I got that about a week ago. Be quite honest with you, because I did not get Grok in my Tesla until literally the night that I got back from California. And since I've been back, I have, because I was gone from home so long. I was in Austin for 3 weeks during the whole Robotaxi launch thing and doing stuff around with that. Came home literally for maybe a week, and then I was back on the road to go back to Austin, meet up with friends, and spend a little time with their Tesla friends, and then we all road tripped over to California. So I needed to do some family stuff, right? So I haven't spent a lot of time in the Tesla, so I haven't really played with Grok yet in my Tesla. So one of the things I do want to do is I want to make some videos here fairly soon on using Grok in the Tesla. Now, let me forewarn you, this is kind of like an early version. It's Grok 4, don't get me wrong. It is a very powerful version of Grok. But as far as Grok being in the Tesla itself, it's a beta version. So it is not, there we go. We just pulled in front of the house. Obviously no parking. Let me just turn that light off. And what I mean by it being a beta version is that it is not like completely intertwined with like all the functionality of the Tesla, and definitely not FSD or anything like that. So it is purely just, I have access to the LLM, Grok LLM in the vehicle, but it's not like, intertwined with anything with the Tesla, but still really cool. And so I have used it a couple of times. In fact, in one of my Uber drives tonight, and I've got that on video, I used Grok for just a couple of minutes with one of the young passengers I had to show her, and she really liked it. But what I'll do is I will try to find a way I may do some standalone videos with Grok and just do some queries in the car. But also may use it with some Uber passengers from time to time. So yeah, that's another update. Got Grok in the car. That's really exciting. So man, I'm telling you what, the first thing is just getting it in the car. And we all know that eventually that is just going to be huge. Once they do start, bringing Grok functionality in with the Tesla functionality and bringing those two together, man, that's just going to be huge. All right, everybody. Well, that is the end of my first night of Uber. And like I said, I wanted to end it out with a nice little solo drive. I may start doing that more often too, that even on the nights, the days or the days and nights that I do Uber, I may go ahead and finish out the night with a nice little solo video drive, because I know that y'all like having the solo commentary as well. So anywho, well, it is about 12:30 in the evening, so I'm going to go on inside the casa, and I will talk to all of y'all again soon, probably tomorrow. Love all of you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.